Made sense in that it's headlines, Chris, that we invite the senior hockey writer from Sportsnet to join us, so we appreciate that. You'll be with us all year long, and news with Tampa tonight.
Yes, JT Brown, a bit of a silent protest here, raising his arm during the national anthem. And the key thing to know about this is that the Lightning, no one was surprised by this. JT Brown has been very deliberate in his decision-making around this issue. He spoke with John Cooper, the coach, his teammates with the Lightning, and he didn't play in the opening game of the season, so he chose to do it tonight. What remains to be seen, guys, is whether he continues this protest as the season goes along.
Elliot, you have a story here on Kyle Turris that I'm quite surprised at, so what's the deal?
Well, here's the situation with Turris right now. First of all, he is really uncomfortable talking about it. As everybody knows, he went through a difficult divorce with Arizona, and he doesn't want to pour any gasoline on the fire this time. It's not the same. I'm told he's said publicly and privately, and he's made it very clear to the Senators, he wants to stay in Ottawa and he wants to work out an extension with them. Ron, I'm told that the two sides are very close, if not agree on the dollars, which I assume is somewhere in the $6 million range, but they are not close on term, and that is the big sticking point. For teams around the league, Nick, my impression was Turris did not play in the first week of the preseason. I think there were some teams that thought a deal was coming that week, but now that the season has started, they don't feel that Ottawa is anxious at all to make a trade.
Well, Elliot, some debate on whether or not Ottawa is shopping right now, Kyle Turris. There are some teams that are telling me, yeah, he is available. But when it comes right down to it, wouldn't you expect Pierre Dorion to throw his name around? They have to.
No, I don't say throw his name around. I say sign him. He's their #1 center or righty. Hard to have.
Or find out his market value. And in fact, if you don't re-sign him, you got to cover yourself as well. I expect Pierre Dorion to start shopping his name around it, as long as he's not under contract long term.
Rick Nash.
Rick Nash's situation is this. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year, Ron, and from what I understand, there have been almost no talks between him and the New York Rangers. 416 career goals with some no-trade protection, 12 teams he can agree to go to, Nick.
And there is interest on both sides. Rick Nash would love to stay in New York, and the Rangers, I think, would re-sign him. He had a really good year last year. Here's the problem now. He's 32 years old. I think the Rangers would like to look at a contract like Eric Staal signed in Minnesota, a little over $3 million. But the problem is a 38-year-old named Patrick Marleau signed over $6 million, and Rick Nash had 4 less goals than Marleau had last season. So I think if Nash is able to do what he did last season, then he's probably in the vicinity of $5 million plus.
Chris, a tough hit in the NHL this afternoon, Colorado, New Jersey, and this is Kyle Palmieri getting hit by Eric Johnson. So what are you hearing on this?
Well, as bad as the hit looked, actually, there's some hopeful news that Kyle Palmieri didn't suffer a knee injury there. He hobbled off the ice, didn't look too pleased, but he has an MRI tomorrow. Some early indications that this is maybe just a bone bruise rather than a knee issue. And Johnson, for what it's worth, is not going to receive supplemental discipline. They deem that was he wasn't deliberately trying to hit him there with knee on knee.
International talks.
Yeah, the league and the Players Association will meet Tuesday in Toronto to discuss international hockey. Of course, we had the games in China. You ask a few people, although maybe the numbers aren't in, there's a belief that money was lost. But that's not on the league or the players. That's on the people that promoted the game in China. So really, of course, we know the CBA might hold up a lot of long-term plans, but the belief is they want to go back there. It's interesting to know that they have a 5-year commitment to go there, but each party, the players, the league, and the promoter have opt-outs to get out of it at any time.
Nick, we're a little tight, but James Neal, 2 goals, the hero for Vegas in their first victory last night.
Pretty remarkable what he was able to do in scoring the game-winning goal, considering, Ron, that he hurt his hand in the conference final in that first game. He ended up having surgery, 8 screws. He had a full plate on his broken hand. He had a bone graft on his wrist. It is remarkable that he even played. And a lot of people are questioning how much Nashville truly knew about the injury, and if Vegas really knew the extent of what he needed to go through to get to a place where he could play, if in fact they would have claimed him in the expansion draft.
Good thing they did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Worked out.
Just great, and nice for Vegas Golden Knights.